Hey, beautiful. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. Welcome to the Homes on Wheels Alliance Saturday Educational Webinar. My name is Robert Wright. I am the Caravans Coordinator for HOWA and your host for this morning. We welcome you. We have an excellent presentation for you today. It's very interesting, and I think you're going to enjoy it quite a bit. Our class structure is basically 30 minutes of a presentation, followed by 30 minutes of questions and answers. At 25 minutes after the hour, we will turn on the chat feature on Zoom, and you'll be able to ask your questions of our presenter there. So please make sure you do that so we can keep a good conversation going. After the question and answer video portion, we will turn off the video and have an additional 15 minutes in our chat of questions and answers. So welcome and thank you for coming today. I want to start our presentation by introducing our presenter, Amanda Yantos. She has an online pet business called dogmomdays.com. And also she's a creative writer and also a content creator. So she does a lot of different things. Her YouTube channel, which I encourage you to go view, is called Adventuring with Amanda. And she talks about her travels as she enjoys van life and nomadic living. You can also find her website, amandayantos.com, where she blogs about a variety of different topics. And you can even find her on Instagram as amanda.yantos. So take a look at those things and you will enjoy it. She started van life in June of 2020 with her dog Wynston. She has a great positive energy, and I think you're really going to enjoy today's presentation. So please welcome Amanda.
Thank you so much, Robert. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. Let me get my screen up so I can show it with you guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Wow, I feel so grateful that you are spending your morning with me. So let's jump right in. I'm going to get my stopwatch going here so I don't go over time. And so let's get going. Robert, thank you so much for the introduction. Again, everybody, my name is Amanda. You can find me on YouTube at Adventuring with Amanda. And let's start. I wanted to start out with some fun facts today, just so you guys can get to know me a little bit better. So fun facts about Amanda. All right, let me just move my little video here up too, because it's in my way. Okay, so I started my transition into nomad life in 2018 when I actually left my ex-husband. I left him in early 2018 and I moved into an apartment. I brought my animals and I brought very little stuff with me, and I really began purging at that point. I went from living in a 3,000 square foot home with 5 cars and a resort style backyard to I felt so trapped in that life, and I wanted to purge, and I needed something different in my life. So that's when my transition began. I started really changing my money mindset at that time also, because I knew that the way I was living wasn't serving me. So when I started shopping and going to buy things, I started telling myself, if it doesn't fit in an RV, I'm not going to buy it, because I needed to get myself into that nomadic mindset right away. And it was around that time that I found Bob Wells of Cheap RV Living. And I'm sure that I'm not the only one here who can say that Bob absolutely changed my life, because his YouTube channel taught me everything I need to know about van life. So I started doing research. And I really started considering a Class C RV because I wanted to travel full time. I had been traveling for a little bit with Wynston already, not via van, by car or airplane. And so, but I knew it would take time and money to get there because I had just, I was newly single and I was going through a divorce. So it took 2 years to fully purge before I could begin my van life. But I started out by car camping. I actually had a Honda Fit, and I bought it actually right out of the divorce when I got my apartment. And that's how I started. So I started car camping with my Honda Fit. And as of 2019, I had never been camping ever before in my life. Like, I had never slept in a tent. I had never I had never done any sort of camping. So I packed up one day and I packed up Winston and my things, and I went for a night at a campground in Payson, and which is just like 90 minutes north of my home base. And I went and I camped for a night at a campground by myself. I had no idea what I was doing, but I dove right in. Um, and I was hooked. So later that summer, I took a lot of road trips, and I went to Kansas and Missouri, and I was driving by myself and doing a lot of traveling. And I did that in 2018 and 19, um, really until I purchased my van, and until life started to change differently. So all of the while, here's the first picture of me and Winston in my Honda Fit. This was up near Payson, and I took it on October 2nd, 2019. In the universe will find peace. I was really struggling at this time in my life, you guys. I had hit a low after going through my divorce. And I felt completely defeated by that time. Going through a divorce, I had to start over. I mean, I had to start my life over. And at that time, I was barely 30 years old. I was trying really hard to keep my business going, my online business, because I just refused to give up on my dreams. And I was completely broke. And so in the meantime, since I had been researching car camping, um, I started to think about, maybe I'm going to have to live in my car, not by choice. So that started to change things in my mind as well. But I was still researching, and I was still watching Bob's videos, and I was still hitting up YouTube to, get some inspiration. And uh, Winston and we traveled to 12 states that year in 2019. And I remember having a discussion with my mom earlier in that year, because I said, gosh, my stepdad was dying from cancer, and I was really having an inner debate with myself. Do I save the money or do I travel? And I wanted to continue to make memories. So last year was a tumultuous year for everybody. 2020 was not a good year. In January of last year, my divorce was finally over. It had taken 2 years. The court battle was awful, and I will never forget January 3rd. A huge weight was lifted from my shoulders. But then in February, my stepdad was going downhill because he had cancer, and COVID started to hit. So we were all being faced with that. Every single person was being faced with COVID. And then on March 22nd at 8 p.m., David died from cancer. And there's my dog barking, so I apologize, Winston. Then on April 27th, it was my mom's birthday, and Winston was mauled and ripped in half by the neighbor dog in front of my apartment. The dog had jumped over a wall and tore him in half. So I was dealing with some really extreme trauma, really extreme trauma. Winston underwent 2 life-saving surgeries, and that was just a month after David had passed away. But I didn't want to be a victim of my circumstances. I was so angry and I was so bitter, but I wanted to continue traveling and working, and I wanted to be happy so, so badly, and I had to change my attitude. And I'll never forget the one night, it was a Saturday, and I was sitting with Winston on my lap, and I was cleaning his wounds, and I was bawling, and I was praying out loud to God and for some sort of miracle. And at that time, I remember telling myself that I had to change my attitude. I had to change my attitude. And I had to change it to gratitude because Winston was alive and life was continuing, whether COVID was happening, I was single or divorced, my stepdad was alive or not, life had to move on and I had to move on with it. So after those 4 very traumatic months, in June 2020, I bought my van. I bought my van because while I was so wrapped up in everything that was happening in my life at the time, my online business was just performing. Internet became, obviously, I mean, already we all needed the internet, right? But now we really needed it with COVID because everybody was working remotely and things like that. So my business started doing really well and I was able to purchase my van. So this picture that you see here is actually taken in Louisiana when Winston and I went on our cross-country road trip in the fall of 2020. And that was our setup at the HOWA in Louisiana, and I absolutely loved it. So while I know that you guys are not here to hear my life story, so here, let's get into the nitty-gritty of my van and all the good stuff. So I have a 2011 Dodge Grand Caravan. I purchased it from a wonderful gentleman named Henry off of an app called OfferUp. It's a buying and selling app. I had 115,000 miles when I purchased it, and it was listed for $5,000. I bought my van for only $3,500. I got a smoking deal. I really did. My van has a ton of cosmetic damage. I absolutely know that. I know I have a discolored door. A lot of people like to point out that my van is so damaged, and trust me, guys, I know, I know, but it's in incredible shape mechanically. But I did buy AAA when I purchased my van. That was my first purchase with my van because I wanted to make sure that I never got stuck. I did consider other minivans. I test drove other minivans. I test drove a couple larger cargo vans. And then I also looked at buying a brand new RV. But the minivan just worked out best because I knew I wanted to maintain a home base, especially since I had lost my stepdad and my mom's a new widower. Since purchasing my van a mere 8 to 9 months ago, Winston and I have visited 20 states. We have now been to 28 states together. We took our cross-country road trip over the course of 6 weeks. So we left in the beginning of October and we traveled through mid-November, very safely, of course, since we are self-contained in the van. So we traveled in a very safe and healthy way. We have put 20,000 miles on the van since June of last year, and I have become happy, free. I am so excited about everything that the future has to holds now because I've been saving so much money. I have paid off almost all of my debt, all in 8 months because I have changed the way that I have viewed things, and since purchasing my van and making this move, I have just been able to make so many incredible life changes. So here is my van with my very damaged door. I absolutely ran into a pillar in a Florida parking garage. It jumped out in front of me. It was not there. It absolutely attacked me. I don't know what happened, but it happened. So now my van, it absolutely has character. Yeah, whoops, it's fine. And then on the other side of my van, I have a map of the United States and the 28 states that Winston and I have been to. And yes, we have been to Minnesota. No, we didn't like teleport there. That was when we actually flew. So, but I had to put the sticker on my van because we've visited there before. Look at my little hippie wagon. I call my van my little hippie wagon because it's so happy and so positive, and I absolutely love it. So this is my van. This is my baby. This is my mobile home on wheels. I absolutely love my van. So this is the view from the main side door and, of course, the trunk hatch as well. And a couple other views. Winston being cute because he's perfect, and I just wanted to show him off. I try and keep it really colorful and homey and bright. And a couple of other ones. I really like to string lights on my trunk when I have my hatch open. The picture with the lights is in St. Augustine, Florida. Highly recommend. And the other photo is in Cape Hatteras when Wynston and I were in the Outer Banks. And then look at how cute my son is. Oh my gosh, Wynston Arthur in Miami Beach, being the happiest boy. He loves the beach. That's Miami Beach. And then the photo next to it, we are in Savannah, Georgia. All right, let's talk about building out your van. So, one thing that I noticed when I started van life was that there's a really common misconception that you need to spend $100,000 on a Sprinter van and buy a $60,000 custom kit to put in it. That's just so unrealistic for a majority of people on so many different levels. You do not need an expensive or a custom setup. My van was built out for less than $1,000 because I'm on a writer's budget. Like, I'm a writer. That's what I do. I'm on a writer's budget. I don't have a ton of money, and I've been living in an apartment complex for 3 years. So I don't have a garage or a yard or a driveway to do any work in. So I had to make do with what I have. But I knew that building out my van, I needed to decide what my priorities were going to be. And you need to do the same for you as well if you haven't given much thought to your build. Or you might need to rethink it too. Something I do all the time is rethink my build. Just, wow, yeah. So anyways, my priorities in my van were a comfortable bed because I have a bad back and a bad hip. And so if I don't get good sleep at night, I am a very grumpy Amanda in the morning, and grumpy Amanda is not friendly Amanda. So bed was my first priority. I needed floor space for Wynston. I wanted him to be able to jump in and out of the van without assistance. So it was important that he had floor space to like put his food and water dishes, that he could just sit. Like, he likes to sunbathe in the floor space, so that was important also. I wanted to use a toilet inside. If it's dark and cold, if it's snowing, if God forbid there's an emergency and I can't leave my van, I wanted the ability to use my toilet inside my van. And then, of course, since I do work full time, I needed a comfortable place to work. I had a friend remove all of my seats, so I just had my driver's seat and my passenger seat. My stow and go seats were removed, so now, as you saw in a couple of the photos, and if you go on my YouTube channel, you can see a lot more about my van, but my trunk is recessed, and then I have just storage where the middle seats go in my van. So make it your own, add homey touches. I put that on here because recently when I spent some time with Bob Wells, he mentioned that he really liked how my van was homey and how I really made it my own. So I put that on here because Bob mentioned that and it made me happy. So you also need to keep your climate in mind. And this is something that I actually was told recently, and I was like, wow, that's a really great tip, because I live in Arizona 6 months out of the year, and it's really dry here. So if you live in a very moist climate where it's incredibly humid or it rains a lot, or you might need to think about different materials. Let's say, like plywood gets moist very easily from humidity. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're building out your van. You will also want to consider your necessities, your toilet. So I've tried a camping toilet, I've tried the 5-gallon bucket, and I've also tried the collapsible toilet. I also use a privacy tent, and I have more slides. We'll talk about this stuff more specifically. You need to think about showers, of course. Campgrounds are great for showering. I love campgrounds for showering. I also like to use public showers. The laundromat in Quartzsite is my favorite place to go to shower. I just love the showers there. I also carry a portable shower, which does require you to keep a lot more water on hand, of course. And then, of course, Planet Fitness. If you have a membership for Planet Fitness, you can shower at their gyms around the country. You'll also need to think about your food storage. We all need food. So you need to decide if you want to do a cooler route or a fridge route. Now, I have the Yeti and I have an Alpacool 20-liter fridge, and I will talk more about that. Of course, storage solutions is something you need to think about. Cooking, of course, butane stove versus propane versus what I use, which is the MSR Pocket Rocket with isobutane fuel. And then you'll also want to decide if you want to be able to move around in your van, as that was very important to me. I wanted to be able to move around in my van freely and access everything inside my van easily without having to get out. So my water. This is what I do for my water. I have 2 3-gallon water jugs that sit in my front passenger seat floor. They fit absolutely perfectly. And then I have 2 small 1-gallon jugs that I keep up there as well. So I also have this electric water dispenser, and it's not stable on top of my 3-gallon jugs, but I can put it on there to easily dispense water with no problems. So that's what I do for my water. It's super simple. It's easy. That electric dispenser costs $10. Since I don't have like an official sink or anything like that, this solution actually works out perfectly for me. For my food, I have chosen the Yeti 35 Tundra. I love the Yeti because it's teal and it's pretty, and I can put all of my stickers on it. Oh, I love it. And it doubles as a table. That surface space is so valuable for me in my van. And when you're in a minivan and you're in such a small space, these are things that you think about. You think about whether or not one item can be used for multiple uses. So the Yeti is great because I fill it with ice or dry ice. Dry ice will keep my food cold in there for 7 days, just a small block. But ice will keep my food cold for 4 to 5 days. And then what I like about using ice is I can just use the melted water from the ice and use that like to do dishes or something like that. So I love the Yeti and I prefer it to the Alpacool fridge. For my dry food storage, I actually keep my dry food in an igloo cooler, which in the photo on the right is actually at Schoolie Palooza. And so I put my cooler either long ways, I can put it horizontally or vertically, but it keeps all my food in there nice and dry, keeps the moisture out, and keeps everything protected. I can also use both coolers as surface spaces to cook as well. My bed, yeah, that's my bed, you guys. It's totally a piece of particle board on top of some pre-cut lumber that I got at Home Depot. That's literally it. Minivan floors are not level, so you just have to do your best to level it. And I had to do my best to level it without tools. So that's it. And then I use a 4-inch trifold mattress. It's memory foam. It's incredibly comfortable and it's been great. So that is all I use on my bed. But I need to figure out a better way to secure it. It's in progress. For my toilet, I decided on the collapsible toilet. I have videos up on my YouTube channel about all of my different toilet options, but I really like this collapsible toilet because it's such a huge space saver. I really have been enjoying using the 5-gallon bucket. I really like the bucket concept because it's easy, it's low maintenance, and it's easy to clean. But the collapsible toilet is nice because I can fold it up and put it away, and it's not this big, massive orange Home Depot bucket that I'm lugging everywhere, and people are like, oh, look, Amanda's pooping. She has her orange Home Depot bucket. We all poop, you guys, but the collapsible blue one is just, yeah, it's just better. A little more inconspicuous. And then, of course, I have a privacy tent from Wolfwise. So I
Excuse
really
me, man. Sorry, this is your 5-minute warning, and we will be turning on the chat now, so you're able to open up the chat and ask your questions. Go ahead and continue, Amanda.
Perfect. Thanks, Rob. So, so there's my privacy tent, and it stayed secure in 25-mile-per-hour wind gusts in Scat and Wash last month. So, highly recommend. For my cooking, I use the MSR Pocket Rocket stove, and I use it because it's small. Like, I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I use it because it's small, it's simple, it's compact. It doesn't take a ton of time to put up, take down. I can use it on my table in my van if I need to, or really anywhere because it's so small. These are the only two pieces of furniture I use. So the black table is the lac table from IKEA. It was $20. I have the white one, but I don't use the shelf. So that's what the table looks like. That is next to my bed. And then the other galvanized steel shelf is also from IKEA. That is called the Omar shelf. And I love it because the shelves, everything's adjustable on it. So more to consider, I do use the Jackery 240 power bank. I power my laptop, all of my small electronics, my tablet, and my phone. I also use the 60-watt solar panel in conjunction with that. I generally rely on solar because I do spend so much of my time in the sun. For internet, since I work full time, I use Verizon. It's not cheap. It's $170 a month, but I have unlimited everything. So, and that includes a physical mobile data hotspot for internet. And then safety. Awareness is key. If you feel uncomfortable, move along, carry items for self-defense. Being self-contained, I really wanted to be self-contained in my van, kind of like I talked about earlier, where I can access everything in my van if I need to from inside. But I also carry a camping table that's collapsible, so I can pull that out if I want to. And then bungee cords and binder clips have been my absolute best friends for securing things in place. For staying warm, I have blankets, I have Wynston, and I have hot hands. And then for staying cool, I travel north for the summer, and I use a small evaporative cooler, which has been awesome around the country. So I'm sure a lot of you have found your van already, but determine your budget, decide if you want to do a private sale versus dealer, look on different apps. You can even put an ad in the paper if you're looking for something specific. I had a friend do that. He was very successful. Be patient. Look through different groups, through different dealers, online. Be patient if you can. So for those who are afraid or nervous or don't really know where to start, I will say that the first night I ever spent in my van in July of last year was in Flagstaff. I was by myself. I ran into a tree. I didn't have cell service. There were coyotes howling right outside my window at like 3 a.m. It was absolutely terrifying, but I tried again. And I'm glad I did, because if I didn't, I would not be here talking to you guys. So it's okay. Try again. Don't be scared. You just got to jump in. Recently, somebody asked a question. How did you know you wanted to be a nomad? How did you know this life was for you? And I said that I decided I wanted to be a nomad after Wynston and I went on our cross-country trip, and I was the happiest human being that I had ever become during that trip, and I had no anxiety. I knew that this life was for me. So I will give you my favorite quote to end my presentation, and I appreciate you all so much. Stop worrying about what could go wrong and start getting excited about what could go right. Thank you so much. I think we need your,
No,
there we go.
I love this thing. There's some delay on there. Doesn't always click when I actually click the button. That was excellent, Amanda. Thank you so much. That was a wonderful presentation.
Yay, thank you, Rob. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
A lot of good information and a lot of good positive energy that, this is a great life and we want people to come out here and enjoy it.
Oh, absolutely. That's right. Amen.
Let's get to the questions. Let's see. Our first question is from Walt, and he just wants to know, what are your favorite things to cook?
Oh, Walt. Hey, Walt. Thanks so much for being here. So I hate cooking. So, like, let's be honest. I mean, I hate cooking. I told Rob this. I know Rob laughs at me, but I hate cooking. I mean, I don't like to do it. So, my favorite thing to cook is when I can go to the restaurant and they can cook for me. But, we don't always have that luxury. So I cook a lot of freeze-dried meals. Actually, I cook a lot of freeze-dried meals, and I like to jazz them up with just a little bit of salt and pepper, maybe a little bit of spices or salsa, something like that. But my biggest go-to is burritos. I love cooking tacos and burritos. It's my fave.
Excellent. Very good. This isn't a question, but Tina says, wonderful job, Amanda. Great to hear your story, tips, and minivan setup. Love you, lady.
I love you,
very
Tina.
nice of
Thank you so
her.
much, my friend.
Mick asks, how are you managing Wynston when you are going to the grocery store? And are you taking him everywhere you go, or do you leave him in the van? How's that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I take advantage of delivery or pickup services for groceries if I can. That's great for dogs. If you need to get like a ton of groceries and think you're going to be in the store forever, grocery pickup is great. But I leave Winston in the van a lot. I do. I won't leave him in there for any more than 20 minutes during this, but it really depends on the weather as well. So in Arizona, you can't leave a dog in the heat in the car. So I have to plan around that. So I'd say that a majority of the time, like when I shower in courtside, for example, when I go to the laundromat, I just leave Winston. I know that it's safe and he's safe, and I just leave him in the van. So you just have to do what makes you comfortable, what you're comfortable with.
Yep, I agree. I have a cat, and yeah, you have to be careful of the temperature and lots of
Yes.
fans and everything running when it is getting a little warm. But
that's right. I always prioritize Winston and his safety in the van.
I agree. Nancy B, with her eagle eye, says, tell us about that evaporative cooler that you have.
Oh my. So it was $25 on Amazon. So highly recommend. I have a video about it on my YouTube channel, Adventuring with Amanda. Now, it's just a small square. I just had dog hair like come off of my hand. Like, this is the life that I live. It's just a small square. I say it's an AC unit, but ultimately it's not. But you just pour water into it in the top and it blows out cool air. It's amazing. I mean, it kept me cool, like comfortable in the van in Louisiana when it was like 85 and 100% humidity. So I highly recommend it. It won't keep up with Arizona heat of 120 degrees. Absolutely not. It will not keep up with that, but it's enough to make you comfortable and to keep, some really cool airflow in your vehicle instead of just a regular fan.
Very good. Do you remember where you got that?
Amazon.
Amazon?
Yeah, I have links to it on my YouTube channel. And I have a video about it. So you can find info about it there.
Sounds good. Luann Kent asks, regarding your collapsible toilet, if the bag develops a leak, is the toilet leak proof since there are so many folding lines? How's that work?
Nope. Absolutely not. You have got to, that's the thing. That's the thing with the collapsible toilet. And that's a really good point, as opposed to the bucket, is, the Home Depot bucket is obviously going to keep everything contained if there is a leak. This toilet won't. So I'm literally triple bagging because, I mean, you do have those creases. So what I have discovered with the 3 toilets that I have tested out is everyone has its pros and its cons. That just happens to be one of the cons about that one.
Yep, I triple bag as well. So
yep.
Just using the luggable loo. So yeah.
Better be safe than sorry. Yikes.
Yeah, I don't want to be cleaning up any messes.
Exactly.
Let's see. Hit the Road says, thank you, Amanda. Happy travels.
Oh, thank you, my friend.
Jan Liu says, thank you for sharing your story, Amanda. I thought I saw a small space heater in one of the photos, which it might have been the evaporative cooler, but can you talk about how do you heat and keep yourself warm?
Yeah, so you did not see a space heater. That is the evaporative cooler. I actually don't have the power to run a space heater, but I also don't need one in my van. The coldest weather I've ever camped in with Wynston was 20 degrees, and that was in Missouri. So we have slept in very cold weather. But for that sort of weather, I actually hook up a heating pad to my Jackery because it uses a lot less power than a heating blanket. So Wynston and I, like, I'll warm up his bed with the heating pad, and then he goes under his blankets, and I put like a little hot hands under his bed so it stays nice and warm. And then I just bundle up and use a lot of blankets and force my dog to snuggle with me.
Do you have a sleeping bag or no? You just use blankets?
Nope, I just use blankets. Yeah, I'm just clothed, and I like to wear a beanie because it keeps my ears and my head warm at night. So I wear a beanie, and then I just use blankets.
Very good. Very good. I have sleeping bags 20 degrees rated or better, so it helps a lot.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, those are great. Those, you might even get toasty sometimes in those. So nice.
Every now and then. Chris McL says, what has been your biggest challenge on the road?
What has been my biggest challenge on the road? Wow, that's a great question. The first thing that comes to mind is showering, because I love showers, and I've had to get used to not being able to jump in the shower anytime during the day that I want to. So that's probably been my biggest challenge. I'm pretty fearless and things like that. So I love driving and I love traveling. I haven't, but I think that's my biggest challenge with nomad life is showers.
And do you do any type of other cleanup in between showers then? Do you use anything?
Well, of course, otherwise I'd be nasty, Rob. Gross. Can you imagine an icky Amanda in the desert for like 5 days without showering? Oh my word. No, I don't go that long without showering. No, baby wipes are your best friend. And yeah, I'm going to go with that. And don't get too close to me.
Sounds good. Sounds good. You know? Yeah. I'm a notorious baby wipe user.
Oh, I just found baby wipes the other day for $2 for these big boxes, and I was in hog heaven. Woo! Good stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say I actually found these at Target, and they work really, really good.
Oh yeah. Oh, the cleansing washcloths. Whoa, look at you. Those are nice.
Yeah, and they're a nice big size, and they work great. They're really good.
I need to get me some of those.
Yeah, I've only been able to find them at Target. So let's see. Sue asks, why don't you like the Alpacool refrigerator?
Well, I do like it. I just prefer the Yeti. I like the Alpacool. The Alpacool is great. I prefer the Yeti because it benefits me more. The Alpacool can run off the Jackery 240. I know someone's probably interested. I get that question a lot. It can easily run off the Jackery 240. It uses very little power, but I like that I can use my Yeti as a table. I like that I can use the water from the ice that melts. So the pros of the Yeti outweigh the pros of the fridge for me personally, but it's still a great product and I do recommend it. I just prefer the Yeti.
Okay. So how often do you have to get ice in the Yeti?
This time of year, every 4 days or so. It's not too bad because when I if I go into town to shower or something, I just grab a bag of ice.
Yeah, I have a friend who had to use the cooler too, and she just switched to the refrigerator, and she loves the refrigerator side of the equation.
Everybody has their preferences. Absolutely.
Yes, they do. So it's always good. It's whatever works to keep that milk cold or whatever it is that I keep in there.
Yeah.
For me, it's chocolate milk.
For me, it's beer. Ooh.
That's always a good one. Let's see. Mike says, "Great job. Can you get a link to that black table from IKEA that you use?"
Yep, I have links in the descriptions to my videos. You can find everything in my main informative videos on my YouTube channel. You can find links to everything in my van.
Okay, yeah, and
Phyllis
if you
has us. Look at Phyllis.
Phyllis has got it. Yeah, she's right on top of it.
She is on top of it. Phyllis, thank you, ma'am.
Yes, she is. She's the best. Let's see. Dennis asks, "What are your favorite activities when you settle into a place? Do you hike, socialize, etc.? What do you like to do?"
Well, I do really like socializing. I love being out in the desert with my friends. It's so much fun. So that's probably my favorite thing to do. I really love being by the water. So if I can like go kayaking, that's my favorite outdoor activity. I know the desert isn't the best place to do those sorts of things, but I will actually be kayaking and fishing this coming week because I'm going to be boondocking in Blythe near the Colorado River. So I really like doing that. Like, I'm not a big hiker. I'm honestly not a super active person. So I just like hanging out and working and chilling with my dog and letting Wynston be, just enjoy his time in the desert and yeah, being by the water.
Excellent. Yeah, kayaking is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I enjoy that as well. Heidi P asks, "How do you keep cool in the hot weather?"
Yeah, that's why I travel north because it is way too hot. I keep cool in the hot weather by going to places like Montana. So I'll be spending my summer in the Pacific Northwest. I travel with the weather, honestly, since I love to drive and I love to explore and go on adventures. I will absolutely drive wherever the weather is nice.
Yeah, I think anybody who owns and travels with a pet understands that you must travel with the weather because you just can't sit in a place where it's 110 degrees.
No, there's no way. It's impossible.
Yeah, you have to travel with the weather and travel in elevations, go higher as it gets hotter.
That's right.
Let's see. Leslie Martin says, "Thank you. I have a van that I will be setting up soon. Plan to begin sleeping in my driveway and figuring out what I need. Your clear insights are very helpful."
Oh, good. Yeah, driveway's a great place to start.
And Chris McL says, "How do you fix your privacy curtains?"
Yeah, so I have Reflectix. So I use those, and then I have magnetic curtains. And then I also put up my tapestries and I hang a blanket on my back hatch. And I just use binder clips. I use binder clips and I just kind of, shove them in there. I also have a video on that on my YouTube channel.
You're covering everything.
I am. I'm trying to be as helpful as I can because I did so much research and so much trial and error. So that's why my videos on my channel are just short and informative. So hopefully they help other people too.
Yep, and we always encourage everybody to go over and take a look at those videos after our class because Venturing with Amanda.
Yeah.
So I like her channel a lot. Let's see. Heidi P says, "Do you use portable solar panels?"
Yes, so I do. I have a 60-watt portable solar panel. It's trifold, and it is from Jackery. So I use my Jackery power station with my trifold solar panel. What I like about the portable solar is that I can put it on the ground. I can put it anywhere around my van, like on the ground, and plug it into my Jackery wherever the sun is good. I can put it on the roof. I've even put it in my windshield when the wind was so insane, but I needed solar so badly. And granted, I got like half of the power from it, but that's what I like about having the portable solar.
And how long does it take that 60-watt panel to charge your Jackery? If your Jackery was at 0.
Yeah, that's a good question, Rob. 8 hours. So the same as the car or a regular Edison outlet would take 8 hours.
Okay, very good. So I've always thought about bigger and more panels, but
Yeah,
60 watts is plenty.
it is.
That's good to know. Laura L says, with all the open doors, how much do you get bothered by flies, mosquitoes, etc.?
Um, Very rarely, honestly. Bugs are not something that I face very often. You know, especially like in Arizona in the winter, in the desert, there's nothing really flying around too much. So you don't have to deal with it. But I have a mosquito net that I made, so I can put that up. I actually have two of them, so I can put those up. And the only time I've used them consistently was when I was on the East Coast because there were so many more bugs. So
Yep, I know that I started off without them too and had very few problems down here in the desert, but going back to Oregon, I had to
yep,
manufacture some mosquito nets.
absolutely, that's right.
A lot of magnets, a lot of magnets.
Yes,
Let's
that's true.
see. Leslie Martin asks, Leslie Martin asks, if the stove you use stable, it looks like it could fall over.
No, it
She needs her
absolutely does.
popcorn, so.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, popcorn is a necessity. It does look like it could fall over, but it is stable. It's not going to be as stable as a regular, propane stove or a burner stove. You do need to be careful. It's not something that can necessarily like be left unattended if it's not on a stable surface. If it's on a completely stable surface, it is very stable. But normally the surfaces that I'm using it on are not incredibly stable. So that is something that you do have to be careful with.
Right, and that's just a backpacking stove,
It is.
correct?
It is. It's just a backpacking stove. So it
One,
literally
yeah,
folds
for putting
down
it back.
to be this small.
Yep, saving space. Very good. Michelle K asks, hi, Amanda. Thank you for the wonderful information. What self-defense items do you suggest?
Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I'm a firm believer in the Second Amendment. So there's that. And then I also have, I guess whatever you're comfortable with, I'm going to say, whatever you're comfortable with. Mace, hornet spray, bear spray, things like that. I carry a little pocket knife, so I put it in my pocket if I need to like go to the bathroom outside, or even if I'm at a campground and I have to walk to a restroom or something at night by myself and it's completely dark. I carry a knife in my pocket because I'm not going to be a victim. So it's got to be safe.
Yep. Yeah, it's all up to you, personal individual.
Yep, all preference.
Mike asks, how do you secure things while traveling, like tables and everything else?
Bungee cords. Everything is secured in my van with bungee cords. And then the things on top of my table. So like on that lac table that I showed you guys, the long table, I keep things on top of there, and I use sticky gel pads, and they're literally a lifesaver for van life. So I can stick anything to any surface in there with sticky gel pads and they keep everything in place. They are a miracle worker. And of course, I have links to those in my videos on my YouTube channel. But yeah,
Yeah, I actually think I saw those on your YouTube channel and went, wow, that's way better than the Velcro tape that I've been using.
they're amazing.
Yeah, they look like they ran there. The fact that you can pull them off fairly easy and move them around is nice too.
I'll give you a couple next time I see you, Rob.
Sounds good. Sam Harry, I probably messed up the way I pronounced his name, asks, do you keep any tools for small issues with the van? Do you do any
I
maintenance
do.
yourself?
Yeah. So I do keep tools. So since I used to race cars, I'm pretty mechanically knowledgeable. So I do keep some tools on me in case of an emergency. I keep them stored in my stow and go, but I do, and I have, jumper cables and all those sorts of things. I actually have jumper cables that work with my jackery. So I do keep that sort of thing um, available. Yeah, in case of emergencies, of course, I do carry tools.
Excellent. Yeah, very good. Yeah, Sam also asks, he's got another good question here is, do you stick to campgrounds or do you use the BLM and National Forest for boondocking? How do you divide your camping time?
Yes, all of the above. So I absolutely love campgrounds. I love campgrounds. I know some people are kind of like against campgrounds, but I absolutely love them because I love the people, like the socialization. Everybody's always so happy and friendly at campgrounds. And I just, especially as a solo woman, I like knowing that there are other people around. It's, safety in numbers sort of thing. And then also, of course, the amenities because so many campgrounds have showers. And uh, like I said, since that's my biggest challenge, I like to take advantage. Of course, with campgrounds too, you can get electric hookups. So I love to stay at KOA campgrounds when I'm looking for a luxurious camping experience because they have so many amenities. I can hook up all my stuff. I can take my shower. They have stores. So I absolutely take advantage of campgrounds. Um, I boondock a lot out here in Arizona because we have so much BLM land. And I've also stayed in national forest land since you can disperse camp there as well. So I have done all of the above. I mean, I've slept on the street, I've slept in parking lots, I've slept in dirt lots. I've stealth camped on the streets of California. I mean, I've really done everything in terms of camping.
Yep, very good. Yeah, I'm a boondocker. I think I paid for 2 campgrounds when I first started, and that's the last I've paid for anything.
Yeah,
So
I
there's
love
plenty of
boondocking.
free camping out there.
Hmm.
Yeah, it helps when you have a little bit better setup as far as power and stuff like that. It's a little easier to go out boondocking, more
Absolutely.
water storage, all those things. Because I think Christina basically asked the same question: where do most nomads park to sleep with no resistance being asked to leave? Which I've never had been asked to leave yet.
Me either. I have not either. It's about awareness, though. It really is. I mean, if you just have to look for sign. Like if you think you're in a spot that you shouldn't be at, you probably shouldn't be there. It's just really about awareness.
Yeah, I would agree. Let's see. Luann asks, I've never used dry ice. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so dry ice, I had never used it before either until I got my Yeti. And I tested it out even before purchasing a Yeti. But you can get a small block of dry ice, or well, a block of dry ice generally at grocery stores, general stores, maybe gas stations. It depends on where you live. You can literally go on Google and just type in dry ice near me, and it will tell you the places near you that sell it. Dry ice will burn you, so you have to be very careful handling it. Normally, the people who package it up for you will package it properly, but I like the dry ice because it doesn't make a mess. It's completely contained, and then it keeps all my food cold for a long period of time. But I only go the dry ice route when it starts to get hotter, or like if I'm in more humid climates. So during this time of year, I just like to use regular ice.
Right. Yeah, I think that's real important on dry ice. Is about handling it because it can burn your hands. So
Yes.
I'm not sure
Yes,
what
it
the
is.
recommendations for handling it is, but it's definitely a pair of gloves, correct?
Yeah, well, and normally they have it wrapped in like tin foil and paper when they give it to you, and which is fine. That's good enough to handle it. But yeah, if you're gonna like unwrap it, you absolutely need gloves because it will burn through your skin.
Yeah, very good. Good advice. Jan Lou says, how do you carry your kayak with the minivan?
So I have an inflatable kayak. So it does not take a lot of space. So it just gets wrapped up and stored in my stow and go.
Yep, I agree. That's how mine is. An inflatable works good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Carol says, if you are alone and boondocking, do you put any motion detectors or anything like that outside the minivan?
I do not. No, I do not. So if I'm boondocking, yeah, no, I don't. And if I'm camping or if somebody like for safety purposes, if something's happening outside of the van or somebody's there, Wynston barks. Like Wynston will let me know. Wynston is all the security I need. Um, I have, but he's also been trained to bark when there's somebody near me. So I don't know. I just don't feel like I need those things. So no, I don't use them. That was a really long answer for a simple question.
It's okay. Sometimes it takes a while to get to there.
Yeah.
Cliff Long asks, can you charge your Jackery with the 12-volt plug in your car when you're driving?
Yes, you can. So, but it does take 8 hours. So, if your Jackery is low, you can't like charge in 10 minutes. So, if mine's low and I'm low on sun, my solar's not that great that day, and I need to drive somewhere or I'm on a road trip, I will absolutely plug it in to give it a little extra juice, while I'm driving. But make sure that you unplug it and turn off your 12 volt if you have an additional button for it in your vehicle, because you do not want to drain your battery.
No, you don't.
Yeah, got to be very careful with that.
Yep, I know I used to charge mine the same way when I first started because I didn't have enough solar to keep it charged, and then
Yeah.
just plug it in while I'm driving.
And
Works pretty
it's
good.
trial and error, for your setup. So.
Yep. Jamie Hart wants to know, what did you do to get your socials, like your website and your YouTube channel, profitable enough to live off them?
Yeah, so that is a great question. Well, I have been a freelancer for 7 years, so I already had before I started YouTube, I already had my full-time freelance business, and it just, like any business, I've just grown it, just like any business, I guess I've just grown it. But I just started YouTube. I just started doing my YouTube videos in December, and I do monetize my YouTube channel already. It did blow up fairly quickly, completely unprecedented. I have 0 tips for you, unfortunately. I don't even know what happened, but so I just, it's just about consistency. I tell people all the time who are looking to get into social media marketing in the digital world, whether you're a writer or a creator or a photographer or a videographer, whatever you're doing in the digital world, you've got to be consistent. So even when I felt like my dreams were dying and I was making 0 money, you just have to keep with it. Just keep with it. So, but it's taken 7 years to get here. So yeah, it's not like it was an easy, it wasn't easy.
Nope, it is definitely takes some time, but you just keep plugging away, and it actually works out very well. It's kind of
Yep,
nice to have some passive income coming in.
it is.
This question is actually for me, and I'm not sure. Worth says, what size rig do I have to accommodate me and my cat? And I'll just say I have a GMC Savannah van, so it's not anything special or extra large. Kitty doesn't take up too much room.
Yeah.
So we have, it's 10 o'clock now, so we are pretty much done. Do you have any final words, Amanda, that you would like to share with our audience before we the video portion of the presentation?
Final words. I would just like to say thank you all so much for spending your morning with me. What a blessing that you're all here with me. Thank you so much to Rob and everybody at Homes on Wheels Alliance for giving me the opportunity. I love you all. You've had such an impact on my life, so thank you. And if anybody, follow me on Instagram, YouTube. If you have questions, email me, message me. Like I want to talk to you. I want to teach you. I want to help you. So I was new to this too. I'm still learning. I'm definitely not, and I'm always learning, but feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to help you or answer your questions, elsewhere.
Excellent.
So
Thank you
thank you.
so much, Amanda. We appreciate it. We can end our video now, and you'll just go over to the chat. Remember to change that to all panelists and attendees when you respond in the chat. And thank you so much.
Thank
And
you, everybody.
we will see you in 2 weeks. We have another great presentation coming up in 2 weeks.